Good evening, chat. Hello. Welcome to Thursday night. Obviously, it's time for the Thursday night show. So let's get to it. And I know the camera's looking a little weird tonight. Camera's doing weird shit tonight, so I don't know what the deal is. We'll figure it out, I guess. We'll figure it out. Yeah, I don't know here. But anyways, we're gonna have to keep going. So welcome guys to the Thursday night show. It is episode 173. 173 episodes of this. This is so, I don't know, it's a big number. It's a cool number out there. It's not 175, but it's still a big number. Big numbers out there, chat. So let's get to this. I want to welcome everybody here tonight. If you guys are new, once again, my name is Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I'm touring the Cleveland, Ohio area. And tonight we've got a lot of, there's going to be some cope. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. There will be cope because you have to cope. You take the good with the bad. If you want the dubs, you have to take the L's. And there's a couple L's we're going to be taking tonight. Big old fat fucking L's. Yep, there will be coping and there will be sneezing, and that's just, c'est la vie, chat. C'est la vie. As far as it goes, that's what happens. That is what happens. We're going to take care of it tonight. In addition to that, though, there's some dubs, there's some good news, and then there's some terrifying news. And we're going to get to all of that. We're going to get to all of that tonight. So notice sneezing, though. Well, I guess that's your call if you want to sneeze or not. If you want to sneeze or not, that's entirely yours. So I guess we're going to get to the first thing, chat. The first thing tonight. It's something, we got to address. It happened, and we got to deal with it. Even then, it's not really anything to deal with. But it is a cope, and you know what? I think you have to get it out of the way first, but we'll get to it. First of all, we've got some of you guys sent me some stuff, and I'm very curious and slightly concerned what it is you guys sent me. I'm actually very, very nervous right now what this is going to be. So I'm very, very, very nervous right now. So we're going to get into these things real quick. And also, 2.0 is part of her my birthday celebration here. We are going to open something, and I guess this is one of them. So I guess I'll open this first here. So we'll give people a little bit of time to come into the room. Okay, this is weird. I don't know what it is, but okay. That's funny. I love you, babe. For the person who's got everything, a belly button lint brush. That's funny. I like that. That's so cute. And I thought there was going to be something written in the card, but it's just their advertising. So thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much, babe. We love 2.0, don't we, chat? We love our 2.0. Now, let me grab our stuff down here, and we're going to grab some of this and get what we need for the rest of this. Okay. Where's the other one? I dropped it. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. All right. Oh, yeah. Yep, got them all. All right, chat. So, I know if you guys send me stuff, I'm generally going to start waiting until Thursdays to open it because we're all hanging out and gives us something to do. Wait for people to get here. So, also, I'm not like Gundam where you have like a million of things happening all all your an unboxing videos or unboxing mail call streams. Anyways, guys, remember if you need to send something, it is to P.O. Box 716, Willoughby, Ohio 44096. So we'll see what this is. And just to be fair, Rabbit Stick, it is not my birthday yet, not till August 10th, but we're getting there. Fucking A. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. This is a gift from Unhung Hero. Motherfucker. Fucking spider. Jesus Christ. Scare the shit out of me. I'm sure you can hear it cackling now, chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. This one, I don't know. We're going to have to open this. Where's the tabs? Right here. Gonna lift that key, pull that key, and lift that tab. No hiss. No hiss. Is it a formula live spider? No, it's a fake spider. Is it edible? I'm not going to find out. I already know what this is by looking at it, so. Okay, this is from Unhung Hero as well. They're just, oh, they put like 1 million receipts in here. So, all right, this one's from Unhung Hero too. So when it comes to my birthday, I will wear these. And then, but I just saw this part and I knew immediately what it was, chat. I'm sure you could tell as well. It is the Pride flag. We're a little late. Pride was last month. But John says, how am I 69? No, I'll be 40. And my palette's pre-activated. Yes. It's gay, the flag. It's gay. Yes, chat. It's gay. It's trans. We'll figure out how to, like, I don't know, do something with it. So thank you, Unhung. Yes, it's because I'm the VP of gay outreach at my firm. I know. Executive Vice President for gay outreach. The fresh fed folds in the material, yes. Yes, 41% of that flag may die, yes. All right, so let's see what this one is. Oh. All right, well, this is a big enough one. I think I can wear this on my head. There we go. All right. What the hell is this thing? Roast some gay marshmallows. Yes. This is... Oh, it's a birthday. It's going to be perfect for the birthday celebration because it's a little birthday hat. It's got a little train on it. So, will this fit me? I don't know. Let's see. Done tap? Yeah, well. There we go. It does fit. There, chat. All right. Oh, it's for Clyde? Oh, I thought it was for me. Well, it fits on me, too. Well, Clyde's older than 2 also, so it won't work for him. But whoever got me this, thank you. All right. That's going to be right there. Okay. Last thing for tonight. When is Sean's actual birthday? August 10th. August 10th. So, that's when it is. It really is August 10th. Last year, we had the show on August 10th, so that was a lot of fun. All right. This one is once again to me. This is from somebody, and how the fuck do you pronounce? How do you name the name of this town? Meta Airy. Is that how you pronounce it? Meta Airy. or Meta Ari. I don't know. I don't know how you pronounce that down in Louisiana. It's Meredith's from Ralph. No, it's not from Ralph. Metairie. Metairie. There we go. Yes. So. Yeah, Metairie. Okay. That's not how you say it. I don't know. Metairie. Yeah, it's tax free. Oh, all right. All right. So let me see here. So, okay. Well, it's wrapped. It feels like a book. You can kind of tell it's a book because it's kind of got the book vibe to it. Is this going to be like the Talmud or something? That's going to be really awkward. It might catch fire. I don't comment. Ooh. Let's see. Wow. Oh. Okay, well, a bunch of shit just came out, so hold on. Wow, this looks like a cool book. Okay. All right, so there's a note. There's a note here. Came from Joe Strickland. All right, he says, "Hey Sean, I can't write. Book good. Read soon. Also, OIF Pogs." I was about to say I noticed because it says AAFES. That's the PX for the people in the military, but it's Iraqi Freedom Pogs. Operation Iraqi Freedom. And they got little pogs, little military pogs. Cool. And the book, I should show you guys the book. This looks like a cool book. Raiders from the Sea. The story of the Special Boat Service in World War II. And guys, the Special Boat Service, the SBS, is one of the British special mission. Well, it's not like the SAS is the special mission, the 22nd SAS regiment. But like the SBS does a lot of special. It's an SOF unit that the British military has, and they do a lot of cool stuff. And they do a lot of, well, obviously boat-related things. But yes, along with the Royal Commandos and the SAS, they do quite a bit. So, yes. So, Joe, thank you. This will be a good book, I think. Because the SBS did a lot in the Aegean. That was really kind of like the Aegean and the Mediterranean and the Adriatic Sea. They did all kinds of shit. But yeah, especially in the Greek islands, because if you guys have ever seen a map of the Aegean Sea, there are a gajillion Greek islands and they were running all over. So this looks really good. Okay, I just found this. This guy's got the best name ever. There you go, chat. That's the best name ever. Imagine getting killed by Dick Harden. Imagine how many Germans that guy's murdered. He killed with like a Tommy gun or a Sten. No, he gets stabbed to death by Dick Harden. Yes, random page pull. Boom. I know. That was the coolest part. Oh. So. Yeah. So. Well, Patty Mayne. Yeah, but Patty Mayne was in the SAS. But he did his own cool shit. Yeah, Patty Mayne did his own stuff. Patty Mayne, yeah. The SAS series they did with recently it was a very good, for Patty Mayne. I thought they did him justice. But that guy has his own interesting past and his own story. So, and how the war went for him. All right, guys. So we are actually ready to go now. It was 15 minutes, but took a minute to get through all those gifts. I'm glad I saved the book for last. I was like, this feels like a book. I'm saving this one. And I'm like, it's gonna be like it's gonna be the Talmud or Mein Kampf. I was like worried it was gonna be one of those two. And eventually I'm like, what am I gonna do with 75 copies of Mein Kampf? All right. All right, chat. Oh, seasons 3, 4, and 5 are coming. Oh, very nice. Very, very nice. So, all right, guys, it is time to get started. And we will start with, as I said, when it's time to cope, when there's a dub, you celebrate. But when you take an L, you gotta talk about the L's. Because if you don't, what good are you? You know, when it's time to cope, you cope. And for those of you who don't remember, and this cope is about, well, actually, it depends. If you support Nick, great. This is a dub. If you don't, this is an L. This is the civil case of Nick and Monty. And you can see it's Steve Quest versus Nick Rekieta. And it's the case number. It's a stipulation of dismissal. So what happened here? Well, it's hereby stipulated by the parties as follows. Pursuant to Rule 41, which is kind of the, default dismissal statute or dismissal rule across the country and in the federal rules of civil procedure, this action is hereby dismissed. Each party will bear its own cost. And this is then saying that Mr. Quest states he seeks this dismissal because he cannot afford the continued cost of this litigation. Submitted today, July 25th, July 10th, 2025, by Matthew Harden of the Harden Law Office at Rainbow Drive. Very sus. Who is the attorney for Steve Quest, also known as Montegraph. So there you go. If you're a supporter of Nick, great. It's a win. Case is over. If you wanted to see Nick have to deal with the case, well, it's an L. Take it how you wish to see it. But yes, Nick has racked up a couple of L's now. So congratulations, Nick. You have got a couple of L's going for you, or dubs going for you now. With a nice cope sip there. Yes, got your dubs. So congrats. But remember, each party has to bear their own cost. And what cost was that to defend this? Wasn't cheap. So there you go. So that is the cope session there. Nick knows $100,000. I mean, I could see that, but who knows how much he owns? Who knows how much he owns? But yes, without this lawsuit and without Nick appealing it and losing the appeal, we wouldn't have gotten the coke stream. Because remember, chat, Nick covered the appeal. And when he lost, that's when we had the coke stream. So Monty did quite a bit here. For couple of tens of thousands of dollars, Nick got a felony charge. A children's services case opened up. He had to sell off his second house. Monty was just a little whoof. And that's still a lot of cope, chat, because at the end of the day, Monty still had to tap out. So Monty had to give his lawsuit. It's over. James says, is that Nick's third dub? Yes, it is. So now Nick is on a winning streak. Remember, you get one, then you get two in a row, and then 3 makes it a streak. Nick's on a streak right now. And I still think, and I'm still kind of expecting, as I've been telling people, this thing with Aaron, I don't see how he gets any further than this point. With the protection order, the restraining order, I don't see how it gets any further in this. And I'm still surprised he got it. So even though I was wrong about him even being able to get it, I don't know. I don't think he'll survive the contested hearing. Now, Nick's saying, we're going to get a frivolous motion. I don't think you're going to get that. But I do think you're probably going to win and get this order killed. So he'll probably get another dub coming up here next week because I think it's the 15th. So there you go, chat. There you go. Where's Minnesota Public Records when you need them? Well, I don't know. They got all this shit and they're sitting on it. So eventually they're going to lose it. Is it a Pyrrhic victory? I mean, depends. I mean, it's still a win, though. The man who ate warm shrimp nearly broke Nick. I mean, that is actually an interesting thing here. So I won't get pulled in with Rico now. Yes, I'm not going to be involved in the Rico situation. Hydrosphere says he can't keep getting away with it. I mean, but he can. People get dubs, guys. Not everybody not everybody consistently just like L after L after L after L. Like, it doesn't work that way. You have highs and lows and highs and lows, and then it's on a longer time frame. Are they going to traject down or up? That's how you have to look at it. It's the long game. It's like investments. If you watch it every day, you're going to panic. You have to play for the long game. And that's just the way it is. Just the way it is. So yes, he got a win today, but think about what's transpired in the past 18 months. A lot out there. So body cam is being worked on. That is something that Matthew Harden and Oliver Bromke are working on. And they're doing their thing. I don't know anything about that right now. Yes, it's a good thing Nick's grandpa was a hard worker and a good businessman. Yes, it was. Helped a lot. Eric says, was I a witness in the Monty case? I mean, technically, like, I was to some things, but doesn't matter now. I'm not a witness anymore. So, Iram says, just arrived. What's the big dub? This. Nick Monty dismissed the suit. So there you go. Now, moving on from here, chat, there is another thing. Just a very quick thing here. Diddy. P. Diddy. If you guys remember, Diddy was convicted of interstate prostitution. He beat the RICO case against him, and he also beat the sex trafficking case against him. So the two most serious things were he facing life in prison. He beat those. And now he's just facing charges of interstate prostitution. And he might get time served here, or a very, very light sentence. And the reason why I say that is, did someone just text me? Yeah. Okay, I'll worry about that later. Diddy might be okay here. And Edward Scott, this is where I'll say, normally it's never RICO. That's in a civil case. In criminal cases, RICO is a real thing. RICO is very effective. Remember, the government made RICO and they created it because they couldn't defeat the mafia. They had to make up a law to apply to organized crime. And in Diddy's case, it really wasn't organized crime. It was a dude who just was like being a fucking creep. So that's all Diddy did. And for Diddy, the judge released an order, and I think that he's kind of tipping his hand here. So here's the order that Diddy's judge put out. And this came out yesterday. And just look at this, guys. This is from Judge Aaron Sobramian. I think that's Sobramian. I don't know. I don't have to be in front of him. I don't know his name. Anyways, this is the judge out of the Southern District of New York. And remember, Diddy is still currently in custody. But this was filed July 9th, and it's an order from the judge. And look what he's covering here. In connection with the sentencing, the court would find it helpful to have available data on sentences imposed where the primary or sole conviction was for a violation of 18 U.S.C. 2421A, or 2, the base level offense under the sentencing guidelines was calculated under 2G1.1A2 and a criminal history category of 1. So you're like, okay, but what does that mean? Well, guys, that means the judge is looking for how would we normally do this? And this is the first thing here, guys. 18 U.S.C. 2421 is transportation of, prostitutes across state lines. The judge is saying, well, what do we do normally in this situation? This is the judge saying, what do we normally do for people in this situation? It's very important. It's very, very important. And then remember, we talked about the sentencing guidelines previously, and the sentencing guidelines from the United States Sentencing Commission, they talk about when you're promoting a commercial sex act or prohibited conduct with someone other than a minor. So this is where we try to figure out what happened here and how you apply the sentencing guidelines, because the sentencing guidelines for the federal government, they operate off of a chart. And remember, this federal sentencing guidelines operate off of this, and it's all very formulaic to them. And I think I'll still do a video about this. But remember, the federal sentencing guidelines, we've gone over this. It's 600 pages long. Think about that. If you want to get sentenced in the federal government, a case, 600 pages. That's a lot. That is a lot to think about. That is a lot to think about. And if you're looking at, when they talk about the criminal categories, you guys, this is what they're talking about, the sentencing guidelines here. This is how the guidelines work. And for the federal government, it's very straightforward. You have your criminal history categories, and notice he said when your category is 1. And why does that matter? Because 1 has the lowest levels of everything. You want to be on this side of it. Going this way, everything gets worse, and going this way, everything gets worse. So you want to stay over on this side of the chart. You want to stay over here in this corner. But notice, they think Diddy's sentence is somewhere around 15 to 21 months. That's kind of where we start. That's where the sentencing, we went over this. That's kind of where we are. Now, going back to this, the judge says you should locate cases that they believe match these criteria and file a letter. Meaning, and remember, that's how you file a motion in federal court, especially on the East Coast. It's through a letter, even though it's basically a motion. And he says, hopefully a joint letter, and he's saying you guys should agree on this, identifying those cases by docket number and jurisdiction on or before September 1st. So they have about a month and a half to find a bunch of cases that support their arguments one way or another. And it's just going to be a list. Here's this case, here's this case, here's this case. No argument should be included. But based on the cases you find, you can clearly make an argument based on what you present to the judge. The goal is for the parties' subsequent sentencing submissions to address the cases identified in the filing, focusing on those that each side believes reflect sentences imposed for similarly situated defendants, if any. And the reason why he's saying this is this information is not available from the Sentencing Commission. So Diddy's actually in a very good spot right here, guys. Diddy's actually, he might be all right. He might be all right at the end of the day. He might be all right at the end of the day. So if you're Diddy, I mean, you're stuck in jail, but you're burnt. You are accruing time, which is always a good thing. You are accruing jail time credit. So remember that 15 to 21 months, he's burning that right now. Hold on here, chat. Oh, locals did not start up, and I need to fix that here real quick. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Guys, also, if you are new, Rumble's not working tonight, but we are on the live chat over at Locals. And if you guys don't know where to go, it is potentiallycriminal.locals.com. You can join us there. The live chat during the show is free. Doesn't cost you anything. Just sign up and be a member. It's free. But if you want to support me, it's $3 a month. You pay for 10 months, get 2 months free. And you can use the promo code Summertime 2025. And you can get access to the live shows. We do 2 live shows a week. Monday night starting at 9. I used to say 8:30, but we're at 9 now. 9 o'clock. And then we do a show after this. So we kind of like an after show, like an after party. We get to hang out and have fun, and that's what we do. And I hope to see you guys there. And you only get the live shows if you are a paying member or if you have the 1 month free access. So I hope to see you guys there. And like I said, we'll be right over there tonight. Or you could join right now in the free chat. And you can see all the things here that YouTube won't let you say. And I can laugh along too. But yes, guys, at the end of the day, J-Rock is saying yes. Use the promo code. He's fat to pay the double the cost. Oh, but yes, that is where we go, guys. Diddy actually might have a good time out of this. He might have a good time. Now, another thing I think is worth addressing here is it's kind of follow up to everything is the Karen Reed saga. And this is insane. If you guys remember Karen Reed, we covered the Karen Reed trial. There's still more aftermath to this. And I when I saw this, I knew that, for example, Hank Brennan still had to get paid, and he's been billing the Commonwealth for his time on this case. Well, it's done. It's done. We now know roughly what Hank Brennan has charged. And holy cow, the invoices that have been revealed and discovered, Hank Brennan, ooh, buddy, he billed Hank Brennan billed, and this is from Ted Daniel. He's one of the journalists that's been really doing work on this. Well, how much has Hank billed so far? Hank Brennan was paid a total of $566,000 over 2,200 billable hours. Now, if you do the math, that's about $250 an hour, which I'm assuming for the Boston area, that's pretty low. But I mean, if you're billing at $250, I'd say that's a pretty generous rate to the state. But still, though, that's $250 an hour. But still, $500,000, almost $600,000. Holy Jesus Christ! That's a lot of hours. It is, and he's been only around for about a year on the case. Which, if you think about that, chat, doing 2,200 hours in a year, that's a lot of fucking work. That's a lot. That part is the interesting thing here. If you do the math, 2,264, you divide it by 40. I mean, if you just, if you divide this by, I think he's even been there a year roughly. You divide that by 52, that's 40 some hours a week. And that's, doing this all the time. But yeah, that is Hank Brennan, Jesus Christ on the cracker. But yeah, he earned a rate of $250 an hour for meetings, phone calls, but that's true. When you're an attorney, your hourly rate is your hourly rate. So if you're in a meeting, a phone call, discovery, trial and witness prep, whereas the entirety of trial and jury deliberations. I mean, yeah, that's not really a problem. Like, your rate is your rate. Some attorneys might charge more when they're in trial, and attorneys who are very, there are some attorneys that can do that. I'm not one of them. Like, I could see Alan Jackson doing that. But that is the update. $250 an hour for $566,000. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. That's a lot of money, you guys. It's a lot of fucking money. And think about it. For 2,200 hours, he basically worked a 40-hour a week gig for about a year and made $566,000. That's the impressive part. Normally, for an attorney, if you're making like $500,000 a year, you're breaking your back. So, yeah. Not So Goodland says, what does the average ADA make in Norfolk County? Yeah, Lally made about $145 a year. So far less. He made so much more. Than even Michael Morrissey. Island has been a member for 9 months. Thank you for being here that long, Island, with support. I appreciate it. 500K equals the acquittal. 400K equals the blue paint. Lucrative losing. Yeah, and remember, so that 400K goes to Aperture. So that's $1 million right there. $1 million in 1 year was spent by the prosecution. That doesn't include the other experts. That doesn't even include the other experts. So, no, Mayo saying, do you think that includes his resources or he got to use all the states? No, he was using, I guarantee, like he used his office, but he's using the investigators from the state. He used the Massachusetts State Police. Like, this was not him just like, no, this was, it's like what you think it was. He basically used government resources on top of everything else. He ain't paying for paper. He ain't paying for toner. Like, all that got expensed out. So, yeah, like this guy, Hank ate well. Hank ate well. So, I mean, Hank, you lost, but once again, he lost. Got fucking paid. We can make fun of him all he wants. He's sitting there. I made $500,000. What did you make? How many bullets you got? And it's like not as many as Hank Brennan. So Hank Brennan, once again, and somebody else got the dub. They got a dub. Now, moving on from there, Karen Reed did claim another. Karen Reed claimed another soul. Karen Reed claimed another soul. And I think you have to describe it this way. But Karen Reed is actually making a body count now. And this body count, she is just destroying and consuming people's careers. Proctor, Buchanan, all these people. And this man, Shannon Burgess. Guys, remember him? Hillbilly Jim. He lied about his college degree, lied about everything, basically. And said, yeah, you just plug this in, run the data together. The data's the data. Remember him. Well, it's funny because if you go to, if you just Google Shannon Burgess at Aperture, okay, forensic expert. I think we're going to go here. We'll click on this, right? I think we should. Let's see what he's up to nowadays. Boop. Oh, no, chat. Oh, no. I don't. Aperture Bros, I don't feel so good. Oh, this has got to be a misunderstanding. This has to be a misunderstanding. Something's wrong here. So let's go to Aperture. Let's go to Aperture here. Like, let's look. We exist to shine a light on the truth. Do you really? So let's get to research and testing. I think that's where you go here. No, we go to the experts. All right, so we got experts, right? And they're alphabetized. Well, let's go to biomechanics first. Let's go to biomechanics and let's see who we have. So biomechanics, let's scroll down. I think we could find, Judson Welcher is still there. Although when you look at this guy, he's got like a lazy eye thing going on. You're like, he's like, and he's got his other eye open. You're like, what's going on there, buddy? But he's still alive. He is still alive. He still works there. But let's go back. And see if we can find, Shannon Burgess. All right, let's see if we can find him. Okay, B. BR. We're getting there. BR. Oh, BRO. We're almost there. Erica Calloway. Oh, there's got to be a mistake here. Where is the rest of it? I mean, uh-oh. Chad, I don't think Shannon Burgess is an expert anymore for I don't think Shannon Burgess is an expert anymore. He should have been like right here. I think he's gone. I think he's gone. Oops. Oops. Oh no. Oh no. I think he's gone. I think he got sent to the farm in Vermont. But once again, chat, Karen Reed claims another life and another career. Oh, that's, Karen Reed can't keep getting away with this, but apparently she is. So good for Karen Reed. She took care of this business. That turd, Shannon Burgess, is gone. So couldn't happen to a nicer guy. We should prank call and ask for him. Well, don't touch the cows. He's definitely gone. So there's a new sheriff in town called the Burgess and Proctor Investigations. That would be funny. It's like Simon and Simon. He took a leave of absence to seek his bachelor's degree. Oof, 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 oof. Yeah, but there you go, guys. Eventually, shit catches up to you, and once again, it couldn't happen to nicer people. Couldn't happen to nicer people. I'm thrilled that it happened to them. So, thrilled that it happened to him. Yes, they made glue out of him. They made glue out of him. Adam A says lied and fried. Yep. Yep. Very true. Very true. Real quick, we got to catch up on some things here. Emily Allen says, as a new member, well, thank you, Emily. I appreciate the support very, very much. Thank you so much for that. Cat, not Williams, guys. Cat, not Cat Williams. Guys, but remember, 15 months. Thank you for the support. I truly appreciate it, Cat. Guys, if you haven't seen Cat, friend of the show, does great stuff over on her own channel, covering a lot of the things that have been going on, especially the YSL trial, which there's still garbage going on with that too, among the other things she's been covering. Definitely give Kat a look. She does great, great work. Saying happy birthday. Well, thank you, Kat. Linda Richards says, hi, Sean. I'm not here to gloat much. Well, hey, depending on what you're here to gloat about, get to gloat. John Coleman says, how old are you, Sean? 69? 39. Thank you, though, for noticing. Unhung Hero for $20. Oh, let's go, chat. Saying, in addition to the gay pride flag and the spider, super chat for $20 is happy birthday, Sean. Well, thank you, Unhung. I appreciate it. And then Obscure Destinations Outdoors, been a member for 13 months. Ron and Tony, thank you guys for the support. Says, so they paid $500,000 attempting to frame her. Well, they paid Hank Brennan $500,000 to frame Karen Reed. But, Unhung, you weren't here when I opened your gift? You're about to give me a heart attack with the spider, man. But I opened the gift when we first got here. So, thank you. But yeah, remember, Hank Brennan was paid $500,000 to frame Karen. Aperture was its own payment. Everybody else was their own payment. So part of that's only part of the payment. There's another couple $1 million out there. But yes, they paid Hank $500,000 to frame her. And he failed. He failed. According to Wayback Machine, Burgess' page is still up as of June 27th. Well, there you go. Oh, so moving on from here, chat, we're going to get to something that, this is another one of those cope. This is another cope session here. This is another cope session. And it's the Epstein files. Guys, we have to cope. We have to cope. Because as you're aware, apparently the Epstein files, well, there was no Epstein file. None of it. Oh, sorry, guys. We got it all wrong. And you're like, wait, what do you mean we got it all wrong? Well, apparently Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are like, no, guys, no, that is not what happened. Allegedly. And you're like, well, wait. What about all that crap with Prince Andrew and Alan Dershowitz? I mean, remember all that? Remember all of that? Well, now apparently it don't matter. It don't matter. You're like, but how does it not? How does it not? And I think it's a little bit frustrating that that's what we're dealing with right now. So I think it's a little frustrating there. So what happened? Well, there is no Epstein list. At least that's what they're telling us. And it's like, wait, so why did we have all that? We did all the stupid binders of phase 1 of like, step 1, you cut a hole in the box. Like 2, you put your chunk in that box. 3, you make her open the box. We didn't have any of that. We had phase 1 of shit we already knew, and now we have this. Oh, there's no list of anything. And it was just Ghislaine Maxwell trafficking kids to Jeffrey Epstein so they both could diddle kids together. Like, that's it? Like, all the people who worked on these islands, nobody else was involved, that they didn't realize that Jeffrey Epstein was fucking little kids? They didn't realize Ghislaine Maxwell was fucking little kids? And they were just like, nobody else is going to get in trouble for this? How did nobody else know what was going on? You're like, no, even then, that doesn't make any sense. No matter what way you're spinning this, it doesn't make any sense why nothing else is happening. It really doesn't. But this, once again, chat, this is where the cope is. This is where the cope is. So, yeah, Alan Dershowitz claims to have seen the list. There are other attorneys and people out there who claim to have seen a list or combinations of different things that make up a list. Like, there's a lot of information out there. But now apparently we can't see any of it. Oh, it wasn't really real. On top of that, we get this fucking weird footage that doesn't make much sense they show of allegedly at the Metropolitan Detention Center, the MDC, where Epstein was being housed and where he allegedly killed himself. But when you get to this, it's, the real issue is like, is this really work? Like, are these cameras working? Because when you get to, where's the one where, but here's the problem. When you follow this guy here, he points out that Epstein's cell, this is where Epstein's cell was. This is where Epstein was, not that camera look. So it's like, then what the hell were we watching? What the hell were we watching? Like, it doesn't make no sense. It don't make no sense. And even what they're trying to say doesn't make much sense. Like, just saying, oh, there's nothing there. Well, then why is it still this? And the problems we have with that one. There's so much of this that still, it just doesn't, it don't jive. It don't jive. Yeah, and this is the other thing. This is another video showing the FBI, like, from things that were released by the feds, showing like they closed off the door. It's like, okay, well, then what happened there? Yeah, this is the problem here. I get it. Pam Bondi's a tard. I've said she was a tard the whole time. She's very incompetent. She botched this and screwed it all up. And yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. Now, on top of that, there's also the whole issue of what happens with the camera. And this is where it gets a little, once again, we're kind of like, what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on? And this is a great example of it here. This here is the camera. Now watch what happens on this. Now watch what happens here. And they have an answer for this. And you're just like, the answer's not very convincing given everything else. So here it is, August 9th, 2019, 11:58 p.m. Watch the time. And we're going to slow down this. We're going to slow this down a little bit. Playback speed. We're going to go half speed. Notice what's going to happen, chat. It skips a whole minute. And yes, Jeffrey Epstein was killed or murdered or hung himself on my birthday. Based in that way. That's a way to be based. That's a way to be based. This is... It's just like the Homer Simpson interview. The clock jumps all over. Yep. Although, to be fair, there is, if you guys pause it, there is, the reason why is, and I think this guy is correct. If you go forward and you know, what's really on that part we're missing, I think this is what happened in the time that we're not allowed to look at. Here is this. And I think this is what happened. You know, that's a very suspicious looking woman. I wonder who she is. And yeah, I think that's what happened here. I think that's what happened. So, yes, we got Sneeding for presents. Yes. Wow. So, that's, yeah, the Epstein shit. Like, it's just... Now, remember, their argument is now, oh, well, the camera system was from like 1999 and it switches over at midnight. It's like, it's a federal prison and they have a 20-year-old camera system like that? Come on now. BOP's like, it doesn't make any sense. John Doe says, you know, that's Hillary's favorite video right now. Yes. She looks like an N64 character. I mean, does she? Yeah, she does kind of look like it's GoldenEye. No. At least the video's not flipped like Karen Reed. Yes. I mean, they did insult us all the way. But they are insulting our intelligence a little bit there. So. Oh. Yes, a tape that is changed at a predictable time every day is a bad idea. Well, there's that too. There is that as well. Yes. And yes. Has anybody been tracking how obviously Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were compromised within 1 degree of separation? Yeah. I mean, remember, Dan Bongino said, oh, we're going to do this. And then he bitches out. Kash Patel bitches out. And yes, guys, remember the influencers with their fucking Epstein binders. Their fucking Epstein binders. You know, I mean, just remember all these people. The Epstein binders. You know, it's just remember, you know, regardless of how much you want to believe has been covered up one way or another, something doesn't add up. Something doesn't add up the way this is done. It's so incompetent and makes it bad. Yeah. So. So. I just, you know, but remember, it's this thing here. I mean, remember these people, like, look, we got the binders. We got the binders. They thought they had something important. Oh. So. Yep, they got loomered. And that got, you know what? I hate to say it, Robin. That is very true. Got loomered. Hey, once again, guys. You know, once again, it's an L. It's an L we have to take. It is something which we must cope. You know, as Stephen Foster Douglas once said, you know, let us pause in life's pleasures, but also count its many tears, while we all cope and sneed with the poor. You know, because there's a song that will linger forever in our ears. You know, malding times come again no more. But you know what? We have to do it. We have to cope, and we have to sneed. You take the good with the bad. Summonable Trap says, I refuse to cope any longer. No, but you must cope more. More. Yes. You must cope more. The coping is never over. Not yet. I'll tell you when it's over. It's like Bane. It's like, now's not the time for fear. It's like, now's not the time to stop coping. Yes. But yes, it is. It is. Johan Naxo saying, Homo sapien says what? What? Thank you for being here for 13 months. Debbie J for 49.99999999 says happy birthday. Well, thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Not so Goodland for 10 subs. Let's go, chat. That's, like, this is a, even though there's a lot of coping so far, we got to get through the coping. We got to get through it. We got to get through the L's. You have to eat your L's to savor the dubs. We're getting through them. We're clearing them out. We're clearing the L's off the field, chat. But we getting through them together. And what do you do when you get these memberships? When you get these subs, you are literally crushing the Grays. And when you do it, this is actual representation of what it is. Every time you get subs in here, you buy a sub for yourself, for someone else. This is what you're doing. You are just crushing the Gray menace. You are making America gray. You're making America green again. You are praying the Gray away. You are crushing them beneath your feet. So don't be afraid to show some support. Not so good one's doing his part. Are you? Are you doing your part? The Authorized J says, Sean, I'm getting real tired of Israel covering up child sex crimes. I mean, when you put it like that, I mean, yes, when you put it like that. Oh. Linda Richards says Pam Bondi is using the Chewbacca defense. Yeah. Seems like it. Fair Frozen 55 is saying either they have blackmail in them or these idiots know they have this treatment, or they could have this treatment done too. I mean, I don't know. I don't know at this point. Or they could just be all a bunch of fucking idiots who we don't really know. We don't really know. But either way, there's way, and I think Chud Logic, and I know you guys, he kind of brought this up, and I think it's correct. Even if you don't believe that there's some massive conspiracy, this shit doesn't even add up on just on its face. Well, why did this happen? Why did that happen? And explanation after explanation after explanation after explanation, it still doesn't add up. It doesn't add up regardless of how deep you believe this goes. So, the Pie Baker for $5 saying Kurt got ADA certified. Mindset is in talks of Rumble. Well, Kurt and Mindset have been seen by, Asmongold has watched their videos. Mindset, like Hassan Piker, even though he's a retard, still watched Mindset's video and reacted to it. And, Kurt and Mindset are on Asmongold getting reacted to. That's the top of the fucking charts, man. That's the top of the mountain right there. Yes, and Mindset is in talks for Rumble. I heard about that. What slice did you get out of the Nick R collapse? I got to have fun. I mean, my channel, guys, I'm doing great too. I'm doing great, and I'm doing great, at my size. This is really good so far. I mean, this past month, I gained the past 30 days, 450 subs. This is, pretty fucking awesome for me too. Rising tide lifts all boats. Maybe not the same, but all boats still lift on a rising tide. So, Who gets our wife? I don't know who wants her. I guess is more of the issue at this point. So I certainly don't have enough KNU or want to have enough KNUs for that. Yes, Anna Kasparian watches me, knows my name. You know, Destiny knows who I am now. Destiny's DM'd me before. Like, this past year has been pretty fucking cool. It has been really cool. Like, if you had told me at the beginning of this, Destiny would know who I am, like, would know who I am and basically call me a retard, it's like, I wouldn't have, I'd been like, you're full of shit. But it's like, here we are. And you guys are all here. You had told me when I first started doing this, I'd be at like 500 people watching on YouTube. You know, the first times I did this, it was like 10 people watching. Like, how far we've come. How far we've come here on our own chat is pretty fucking cool. So, yes. But as Jim McCabe reached out, no. No, not yet. Angela said, Sean said, I'm that nickel, Okie. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. Yes. Talking to Destiny isn't cool, Sean. Well, I'm not saying like, you know, him and me are broskies, but like he knows who I am. And when we were talking about some of the filings in this case, he actually sent me a DM saying, oh, hey, by the way, I saw you commented on this. Here's some other information he kind of gave me, which I was wondering why something hadn't happened a certain way. And he said, by the way, this is what's going on. Made a lot of sense. So I appreciated that. You know, yeah, certainly me and Destiny aren't going to, you know, be broskies, but that, you know, these people are talking like that. That's just the communication there. Get Anna on. Yes, Anna Kasparian knows who I am. I'm Nicholas Diorio and these React community people. You know, he referred to me as the lawyer, the Santa lawyer guy, and he's like, I forget your name, sorry. When he was talking to Turkey Tom, like, yes, well, like it, you know, chat, we're getting it done. We're getting it done. We're all getting it done. It's awesome. It's awesome, awesome, awesome. So your boat's a little slower to lift. Well, it's a little heavier. Heavier boats. I displace a lot more water. So, yeah. Sean got my dollar bills. Not even Pippa or Kirsha got that. But yeah, that's true too. I got to hang out with Kirsha, and like we're gonna hang out, like, you know, cover some more stuff. Like, this is fucking cool. Hanging out with VTubers. You know, like it's been fun. So I don't think, like, you know, guys are like, and I'm happy to see the people I know who are awesome people doing awesome things and making awesome progress. Like Kurt passing 150 and subs, Mindset getting over 300,000. You know, Nate the lawyer crushing it out there. Emily Baker, Andrea Burkhart, all these guys out there kicking ass. It's awesome. It is absolutely fucking awesome to see. It's so cool to be part of it. Nico, who's been a member for 20 months, says, legal mindset? Well, yeah, it's very true. I mean, we almost have to do this now.
Legal mindset! Legal mindset! Legal dick suckers, more like it.
That's it, guys. We love Andrew. Great friend of the channel, great friend of the show. So, but thank you for 20 months, too. That is awesome. Thank you for that support. I appreciate it. And what did I just get emailed? Wait, how the hell did that get? Wow, that's like, it's 10:30 and I'm getting a, that's weird. Okay. Either somebody's working late at court or something weird just came through the internet. I don't know. The Chugi Show is saying, how many trials do you think would have ended with a conviction based on the Epstein list? I don't know. Maybe there wouldn't be convictions. Maybe people would just self-regulate their communities. I mean, you look at what happened to Prince Andrew, basically exiled from the royal family. You know, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. You know, sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's enough you get out of people. So, and I don't know why my camera keeps moving. It's getting a little frustrating. What about the non-prosecution agreement I remember reading about? Statute of limitations. People's expectations were too high. Well, yes, it's always nothing ever happens o'clock. But, you know, like I said, getting the list out there, it's like, you know, I'm not saying people would do something, but, you know, there's always, can always go do something. You know, it's yeah. No man is immortal. No man is immortal. Sweet Tooth Fairy. It's been a member for 27 months. Thank you. That's a long fucking time. 2 years. 2 years. Says, Sean, you're one of a kind. Congrats on your eyes. Well, thank you. And I thank all you guys for coming along. Whether you just joined or you've been here from the start. Thank you guys. Thank you. Lineman says, Lineman 60, thank you for being here, man. He's saying, I'd be more willing to accept there's an Epstein shaped hole in the data. Sorry from them. That too. Very true. Bibliophile for 10 subs. Let's freaking go, chat. Thank you for that support tonight. Thank you. Oh, yes. Okay, well, let's keep going here. We're going to catch up on some of this other stuff in a second. Moving on from there, guys, this is so weird. This guy, and I thought it was a joke when I first heard about this, but no, it's not a joke. It is definitely not a joke because it definitely happened. And it's kind of funny because this happened out where I used to live, out in the Toledo area over in Western Ohio. A man accused of posing as a student in a suburban high school has been arrested by the federal government. And you might notice something as we zoom in on this. So the guy's name, Anthony Emmanuel Labrador, and I don't know, Labrador. I don't know how you'd pronounce that in Espanol. Sierra is a 24-year-old Venezuelan national who is here illegally, and he poses as a high school student. And you're like, what? How does that work? How does this work? Anyways, here is a picture of Anthony, and some of you guys think he's the whitest Venezuelan you've ever seen. Like, no, can definitely. But anyway, that is here, and this is him. So he's here illegally, and what else did he do? He bought a gun, which if you are here on a non-resident visa, you cannot buy a firearm. If you have a green card, you could buy a firearm. But if you're here on any other type of visa or anything like that, you can't buy firearms. The green card is that you need to have a green card. There are some other kind of like more esoteric living status designations, but generally speaking, unless it's a green card, you can't get what you need. So he's accused of posing as a high school student, and his case is going here. Now, he bought it. He's been charged because he possession of a firearm by an alien unlawful in the United States. He also got charged with the Hunter Biden stuff, making a false statement during the purchase of a firearm, and making or using false writing or documents. Now, once again, this one here, I still think that's unconstitutional. And then even this one here, though, if you're here in America, you have the First Amendment rights to an extent. You have a Fourth and Fifth Amendment right if you're already in the country. Do you get a Second Amendment right? Well, that becomes an issue. Is this constitutional or not? I think there is an idea that if you are not a citizen of the country, you don't want people running around armed. We shall see, though. We shall see. This guy is I don't think they're going to win on those challenges. But anyways, this guy entered the U.S. in 2019 on a tourist visa, but overstayed. He later assumed a false identity, using a birth date to appear younger, enrolling in a high school under the name Anthony Labrador. And because of all this, with the gun stuff, you face up to 15 years for firearm possession by an alien, and 10 years for the making a false statement during the purchase, and then the 5 years for using the false documents. So what did he do? Well, he's a homeless immigrant from Venezuela, and he claims he's a victim of human trafficking. So he claims he was born in 2007, but documents, including his driver's license, show he was born. He was born in 2001. So when he went to go buy a gun, he had a valid Ohio driver's license, which this is what an Ohio driver's license looks like. How the hell do you get a driver's license? How do you get a driver's license? I don't know. But he did. And still makes me wonder. Ooh, and it makes me wonder. You know, he's still going to have to get a flared, though. He's still going to have to get a flared. And so here's the thing, though. He took part in the high school sports. He played junior varsity soccer and was on the swim team. Like, this guy was out there as a 20-something-year-old man whooping the shit out of high school kids. This is something interesting here. This is something interesting. Oh. You know, you're just like, yeah, tattoos and all. So anyways, this does make sense, you know, being from South America, he bought a fucking Taurus. It's like, that's the gun you're going to buy when you're here in America. But, you know, I get it. He's South American, so you bought the Brazilian gun, but it's like, you know, at least by a fucking High Point, but he bought a Taurus. And the funny thing is he bought out the Bass Pro Shops, which is literally down the road from where this high school is. Like, it's literally like right there. It's across I-75. Actually, I think it's I think it is almost right there. Hold on. I think it is like literally right there. Hold on, chat. We're going to check this out on the map, Here we go. Yeah, I mean, he's just literally like not that far at all from the damn Bass Pro Shop. It's like, that's isn't life funny like that? Isn't life funny that way? So what happened and how did this guy get caught? Well, he got caught, got caught by his girlfriend, his baby mom turning him in. So, yeah, I mean, like, that does make me wonder, has he raped a bunch of girls? Has he done any creepy shit in the locker rooms? Like, what was he doing? Yeah, had he had sex with any of the girls there? Because it's all statutory rape. Like, yeah, there's a lot of problems here. There's a lot of problems with this. This one, I mean, it's hilarious in a way, but it's absolutely mortifying that this happened. So you're just like, yeah, you just don't know. Yes, it's like the meme. Hello, fellow teenagers. Of course he did. Why else did he go to high school as an adult man? I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking too. It's a fucking predator. Preying on fucking girls and probably boys. Who knows? Who knows? We don't really know. We don't know with this guy. Oh lordy. Who Lord. Yeah, you could totally get girls drunk. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. And that's the thing here. Yes, David Joyner. Yes, that was the thing. Maybe he saw 21 Jump Street and he's like, I want to do that myself. Because it's basically the premise of 21 Jump Street. You know, I'm going undercover in high school. So it's very interesting. Although, to be fair, you know, he probably passed as a kid because he's like, doesn't speak English well, can't read or write, and is stuck on his phone and won't talk to the teachers. So he probably blended in very, very, very well. Very well. Very well indeed. Oh. Fair Frozen 55. You know what? You brought up something else too. Jim Menaker knows me as the fat guy Nick Ricada yelled at. And that is another thing too. Mr. Menaker would know who I am. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. It's even in my song. And I just, there's just so many cool things. And it's, just like the song goes like, hey, look, Ma, I made it. And it just so many heights, chat. And, we have sponsors. We have all kinds of stuff going on. And real quick, while we're here, we should talk about our sponsors. And all right, chat, the first one we are going to talk about is the dragonstreasure.com, a haven for tea and anime lovers, but also lovers of soap and coffee. You can find it all there. Right now, one of the newest green teas right now is the Undead Bride. That is one of the ones that T-Man is out there doing. There's a peach cobbler tea that they are working on. It's in beta. You can go over and get that and tell T-Man if you think it's good. They have a new black jasmine tea. Not black jasmine, but black jasmine tea. They've got a pumpkin spice tea. It's a little early in the year for that, but if you want to get your white girl on now, get yourself some pumpkin spice tea over there at thedragonstreasure.com. Use the promo code criminal. You get 10% off your order. And help the T-Man out. Buy his tea, chat. Buy his tea. Next up, chat, we have MAF-arms.com. That's right, chat. MAF Corporation. Guys, you know them. Madford Floodbusters. They had their 4th of July sale. They've always got things going on with your wind chimes, little wind chime accessories. Hit them up. Promo code POTCRIM gives you 10% off your order. Remember, if you put in the comments box that Matt promised, he will put a big old kiss on your invoice. Remember, all orders over $500. All orders over $500. Ivan will put a big old lipstick kiss on your invoice as well. That's right, chat. Over $500. Ivan will do it. He said he's down for it. He wants to kiss as many invoices as he can. Hold on one second. And then from here, chat, finally, last but not least, once again, chat, is Stoney's Bar and Grill at 158 East Broadway Street in Rockville, Minnesota, chat. That's right. Stoney's is your place to go. You want to go to a bar that won't tolerate scumbag, baldo skellies, and gross dabbleverse turds walking in there. Well, Stoney's is your bar. They kick him out. They clean him out. They don't want him there. Guys, it's Thursday night at Stoney's, $2.50 cans. It's bike night. Come and crank your hog out on the patio in front of everybody. Jimmy Z's food truck was there tonight, and they are getting ready, guys. This Saturday, come out to Viking Land Harley and support Everly in her fight for, believe she is on a dealing with health challenges for this kid. Saturday, July 12th, they also have a bike run going on all day at Stoney's Bar. The Mystery Machine is performing at 9 p.m. on Saturday. And join them out there at Stoney's, serving Minnesota as the premier biker bar for 30 years running. I mean, what more can you say? There's nothing else you can say. Nothing else. Nothing else. So, yes, it is. It's Katie's birthday. Happy birthday, Katie. Make sure you guys tell Katie happy birthday. And hold on one second. All right, guys. Yes, Stoney's is a national treasure. Yes. Also, guys, don't forget about Alyssa. Alyssa's kind of battling some of her own medical issues right now. I know she, I guess she had kind of talked about it earlier, but she's like, I'm actually, the way you said it was better because now she doesn't have to say it. Yeah, she is dealing with a variation of pancreatic cancer, it looks like, and she's trying to get ready to deal with that. If you want to help out Alyssa, you can buy her a coffee or you can Venmo her. Guys, definitely don't be afraid to show her some love out there. I know she would appreciate it. So we are going to move on from there to the next thing. Guys, this, like I said, some of this stuff is getting funny, and some of these are just a little weird. Well, from on to here, this one is just this one's just weird. This one's weird. This comes out of Australia, and before we get too far into this one, Hella over at Excited Utterance is actually interviewing somebody involved in this. It was a murder trial that happened, and what is going on with that? She's speaking to a guy who was there at this trial, multi-week trial, and she is. It's. I mean, here it is, guys. She murdered people with poisonous mushrooms. And now you're thinking, well, how did she do that? So she made a beef Wellington. And this Erin Patterson had a multi-week trial. And this is her. She killed 3 of her relatives and attempted to murder a 4th. And she made a beef Wellington for her family. And if you guys don't know, beef Wellington, if you guys know Gordon Ramsay, that's one of the things on Hell's Kitchen. It's raw. The beef Wellingtons are always raw. Well, part of the issue with a beef Wellington, and this is the critical part of a beef Wellington here, we'll focus in on this real quick, is right here. And this part of the beef Wellington is a meat that's cooked inside a pastry, and it's cooked inside. Basically, you make bread, and you make like a little pastry shell for it, and you cook it. Well, wrapped up in the beef is what's called the ducelle. Okay, and it's basically mushrooms that are all chopped up, and you make like the little mushroom and mustard, and you wrap it all up and roll it. There's like some prosciutto on it, or Parma ham, whatever you want to call it. You put it all on there. And this is mushrooms. Well, this lady in Australia put a bunch of poisonous mushrooms in there. And she used, the death caps, which, remember, in Australia, everything kills you. That's the problem with Australia. Everything kills you in Australia. So be very careful about, everything in Australia now is going to kill you. Yes. What's the charge? Cooking a meal? A succulent mushroom meal? Well, it's a little more than that. So she gave these people the beef Wellington, and this is the beef Wellington here. And, just imagine if this is Gordon Ramsay looking at it, he'd be like, it's raw! It's raw! He's like, it's got the soggy bottom on it. He would lose his damn mind over this. This is the problem. This is the problem with it. So she served it up. And it's you think about it, this is, and what she did was she murdered her estranged husband's mom and dad and his aunt. And she tried to murder her husband's aunt's husband, so basically his uncle as well. And this is the leftovers, and she served it to her kids, but she scraped everything off and gave it to her kids in a way to show, like, look, everybody ate it, so who knows what happened. Well, yes, it looks nasty as fuck. Well, I'm sure she didn't do a good job as cooking it. It's really hard to do these well. My mom, and that's what I learned. I learned, I forget what I learned. It's like maybe a year or two ago. My mom used to cook those for my dad all the time when they first got married. It was like she could make them, and she was very proud of it. So, but yeah, this is, look at it. It's raw. It's raw. It looks disgusting. But remember, this is all basically desiccated food at this point. So it's from a while back. It's from a while back. So this is the problem. And this is where they did it. And it's from 2023, so this is like 2-year-old food. So it's not going to look too good. It's not going to look too good. Um, hmm. Oh, looks like expired date squares. Bleh. Yeah, well, this is what they had there, and this is what she's accused of murdering it, and she was convicted of it. And anyways, so the three adults ate it, and they got really sick, and their organs failed, and yeah, they went to the hospital, and they weren't feeling well, and they got put in 2 comas, and they died. Like, they were awake and said, "We have to put you into a coma to treat you," and they said, "Okay," and they got put into comas, and they never woke up. That's fucking trippy. Like, you're going to sleep, and you might not wake up. You're voluntarily going to sleep knowing this is it. So, yeah, and, the issue was, like, everybody was admitting she made it, but the question was, did she do it? Well, in, Victoria, the Australian province, they convicted her. 12-person jury found her guilty of all that. And they said there was difficulty in proving intent because, she killed 3 people and then tried to kill a 4th. But, you don't have to prove motive even in Australia, but you know what? Motive is important because the jury's going to want to know how and why did this happen? Because if they don't know the why, it's really hard to convict. So that's why even in America, you don't have to prove motive, but you generally want to be able to show it. But yeah, this lady had no criminal history. All of a sudden decided to kill people. And it helps when you kill older people because they're easier to kill. And she said she had a slight reorganization of her pantry. And she's like, I was foraging for mushrooms and I didn't realize that there were death caps in the same Tupperware container as the mushrooms she bought from an Asian grocer. And she's like, during the pandemic, I started foraging. And she kept doing it every year. And then she dehydrated them, and drying them meant they'd last longer. And yeah. So yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Doesn't make a lot of sense here how this all worked out. So, and it just shows all the people and their family tree of how people were killed. And she got rid of her dehydrator the day after she realized she killed them. It's their argument. Well, that means you probably did it. She lied to police about foraging in the dehydrator. She remotely, and this one's the bad one, chat. And from reading this earlier, she remotely reset her phone to conceal evidence. It's like, oof, that is, don't reset your phone, chat. Like that, you got to be good if you're going to, remember, you got to sanitize your shit ahead of time. You can't do it like that. You can't do it like that. So it doesn't work that way. So but yeah, there you go. Yeah. So just something to think about. Just something to think about. And it's absolutely ridiculous how this whole thing happened. That she also regularly used Dr. Google to understand health ailments and admitted to having, overstated health complaints, including cancer, to lie to people. So she's just like Boogie. She's like Boogie 2988. This is it just you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with this lady? This is Now, this is the interesting parts here because she ended up taking the stand, and she was asked whether or not she tried the Decel, and that's how you spell Decel, after she accidentally added the death caps. And, it's like, well, wait, why didn't you eat any of this? How did she not get sick? Why she combined different types of dried mushrooms. There are other questions too that were not asked. She was asked countless times about, what happened and why wasn't she getting sick? And she was the final witness. She took the stand and she tried to claim, she tried to talk her way out of it. How did it work? Well, it didn't work well for her. So, but yeah, she killed these people with a beef Wellington. You're like, a succulent beef Wellington, and she killed them with it. Just be careful, chat. Be careful about what you eat out there. Well, it's dangerous. It's dangerous out there. Oh. Titan 22 for $10. And also with the nice F22 on the thumbnail. I mean, that is just a thing of beauty, the F22 Raptor. Shame we only made 187 of them. It says for $10. Hey, Sean, I always enjoy watching your streams. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. Jonathan's been here for 13 months. Thank you for the support. So Sean is a beautiful butterfly. I'm more like the fat, it's like Bug's Life. I'm the fat caterpillar. Mamasaurus Rex, who's been a member for 13 months. Thank you for that support. I appreciate it. It says, you still help the little guy. You do important work. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. American Dreamer says for $2, will you cover Alan Jackson's new case out in California? Yes. Adriana Jacobs, Ari, she's given me actually a bunch of the court documents for that case where Alan Jackson's defending the guy who allegedly DUI and hit a car full of girls and killed them all. Yeah, we're actually going to talk about that. It's very interesting. We'll take a look at what's going on in that just a little bit. We're going to figure out, we might do that this weekend too. I'm not sure. I need to take a look at it. John's saying, we like how swarthy Sean Martinez pretends to be a Mick lawyer. If I got a real tan, you really could say that. Okay. You need to retrospect. Can we get a happy birthday for Katie? Yes, I think we did. But yes, happy birthday, Katie. Steph Lira has been a member for 4 months, says Stonies. Yes. And then Nico says, did this lady lure them over with the beef Wellington and a PS5? Hard to tar. Jim says, Sean, get recipes from your mother while you can. Oh, we do. We do. My mom has made sure all kinds of stuff is written down. Angela says, oh my God, Sean, have your mom make me one. Well, I got to have her make me one first. I learned about this and I'm like, why haven't you ever made me? Like, why have we never had a beef Wellington before? She's like, wait, you like those? I was like, it's a beef tenderloin. Like, what's there not to like? So, T from Laos says, how good is 2.0's beef Wellington? We've never had. Hold on. Do you know? Can you make a beef Wellington? Okay, well, that's what I mean. That's why I say I don't think you ever had. Yeah, she hasn't before. I mean, maybe we'll do a cooking stream, chat. Maybe we'll do a cooking stream. 2.0 and I together making one. BobTube for 5 Australian dollar doodles. Thank you. Bob is saying she also used the mushroom finding site to find the death caps and then went to the place that was found 1 month before the murders. Yeah. And that's the thing. They tracked her movements and she went to the area in the woods where you could find death caps. And it's like, yeah, that kind of looks like you did it. Kind of looks like you did it. Another for $5 says John's choice of weapon. It's not a beef Wellington. Yes, thank you. Also, by the way, beef Wellington was one of JFK's favorite meals. Man loved a beef Wellington. Kind of gave it a resurgence in America. So, So, but yeah, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense because she didn't eat, and it's, like, why didn't she get sick? Why didn't she die? Um, there was a lot of problems with it that didn't make sense. So you got to be careful when you do it. You got to be careful when you do it because, well, why didn't what's going to happen to you? What's going to happen to you? Um, you know, and all she did was fake getting sick, and it's like everybody else who was sick went to the hospital, including one person had to get a liver transplant. So you weren't really going to fool everybody. But you guys remember, check out Hella Overexcited Utterance, covering that whole story there. And yeah, just keep that in mind as you go forward. Been covering that in its the interview is Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern over there on her channel. But yeah, just be careful about what you eat. Be careful about what you eat. Didn't she have her own one on a different color plate? No. No, but that would be even funnier if it did that way. Who had the worst beef Wellington, Patrick Tomlinson or the Australian lady? Well, he makes pepperoni, first of all. So there is no pepperoni Wellington. That would be really disgusting. Oh. Yeah, she had hers a yellow plate. Yeah, oh, she did? Oh, I didn't even know that part. But yeah, shit, that makes it even worse. She had her own special plate there, yeah. Oh, yes. She scraped the shrooms off theirs, yeah. So when she gave it to her kids, yes, and that was the thing she did. Her kids, when they were going to eat, she scraped all the shrooms off and was like, here you go, kids, eat it. So they weren't going to get sick. So no, her children were not poisoned at all. They're fine. Oh. Someone link the picture of the black Tomlinson Wellington. I don't know if I've seen. I don't know. I know Patrick Tomlinson were pretty good. I don't know about the beef Wellington. A pepperoni Wellington is just a calzone. I mean, it would be because, well, you'd have to have the cheese in there, but yeah, that kind of would be. So, yeah. So, she's she's kind of fucked. She's gonna get fucked there. Don't do it, chat. Don't do it. And then Yorick for $10, man. It's good to see you. Says, I always stick with a succulent Chinese meal. Yes, just a succulent Chinese meal. There's nothing wrong with that. And never let anyone else obtain your mushrooms. That is, just buy mushrooms from the fucking store. It's so much safer. Don't go out and, like, even if you're getting chicken of the woods, the chicken of the forest, or, shaga, for tea, just be careful with all that shit, guys. Be careful with all that shit. It's a great way to hurt yourself. It is a great way to hurt yourself. Just be careful. Nick Kreuzer for 10 more subs. I mean, guys, you are just out here just, we are going to the moon tonight, chat. We are just on the way. We are unstoppable.
Ah, man! Check him out, y'all. He having the time of his life.
I mean, we are. We're having the time of our life, chat. Just like a homeless black guy sparking up some crack rocks on the train. I mean, I don't know. Like, that's how I feel right now. I feel like that guy right now. We're just unstoppable. Unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. All right. Moving on, guys. Moving on. This is, we're going to get to this here. I think is kind of like, this is a feel-good one. This is a feel-good one. If you guys don't remember this meme, this was a very big meme previously. You guys remember this meme from 2020? This was posted in the meme war by Ricky Vaughan. You guys remember this? I'm with her. Go Hillary. Avoid the line vote from home by texting Hillary to 59925. Now, in reality, you can't do that. That doesn't work. But as a veteran of the meme wars, and I wasn't here on YouTube chat, but I fought in the Facebook campaigns. I was in the Facebook theater of war. I mean, it was rough. It was a rough time. But anyways, Ricky Vaughan, known by his real name Douglas Mackey, was actually convicted of conspiracy for this meme. Now, what happened to him? Well, he was convicted of conspiring to injure citizens in their exercise of the right to vote, violating 18 U.S.C. 241, based on 3 separate memes he posted shortly before the 2016 election. Well, he was convicted, and he was convicted a while back. He was convicted of this, and well, he appealed. He appealed all of this, and what happened is he won. He won his appeal. And this is 40 pages long, so we're not going to get to the whole thing here. But this came out yesterday. Here, guys. And it's decided July 9th. So United States of America versus Douglas Mackey, a.k.a. Ricky Vaughan. We'll probably go over this in depth at some point, but it's 41 pages, and we've got 2 big things to get done tonight, and I want to get to those because they are very important. About some scumbag commie terrorist cell, and then maybe the end of the part of the National Firearms Act. So what happened? Well, he was convicted of conspiracy, and the problem was he didn't conspire with anybody. He was just by himself doing free speech and making memes. So what happened? Well, they reversed his conviction and remanded it to go back and enter a judgment of acquittal. So ultimately what happened here, and this is the thing here. So, and this is just the synopsis of everything. So he posted or reposted 3 memes suggesting that you could support Hillary by text message. And they said, based on these posts, a jury in the Eastern District of New York convicted him of conspiring to injure citizens in violation of 18 U.S.C. 241. So, and what does that mean? Well, it's a crime for 2 or more persons to conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or because of his having so exercised the same. So what happened? Well, he argued on appeal the evidence was insufficient to show that he agreed to join a conspiracy, and they say, we agree. And basically, nobody disputes that he posted the memes or that doing so independently would not be a crime under Section 241. It would merely be free speech. And because that you have to have a conspiracy is 2 or more people. The fact he just posted memes, even assuming that he did so with the intent to injure others, is not enough. The government was obligated to show that he knowingly entered into agreement with others to pursue that objective. The government failed to do so. Their only proof was exchanges among participants in several Twitter DM groups that the government argued showed their intent. But the problem was there's no evidence that he even viewed or participated in any of these. Well, yeah, that's kind of hard to show, isn't it? In the absence of the evidence, the government's remaining circumstantial evidence cannot alone establish the agreement. Accordingly, the jury's verdict and resulting judgment of conviction are set aside, meaning it's over. It's overturned, chat. It's done. And if you guys want to know how things are going for Ricky Vaughan right now, as Ricky Vaughan did yesterday, he says, should we post the meme? Should we post the meme? And if you go back to July 9th, and this is funny because it happened yesterday, he says, ladies and gentlemen, government exhibit 720 with the government exhibit sticker on it. Posted November 1st, 2016 at 4:34 p.m. And notice, this is a tweet that got only 36 retweets and 65 likes. And this guy's correct. They tried to ruin your life over a tweet that got less than 100 likes. They wanted to put him in prison for that. Scumbagovich says it's all over. Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolute mad lad, chat. Absolute mad lad. Now, what does this mean? Well, for Douglas Mackey, he was set to have to report to prison. He was sentenced, but he got appeal bond. So it's hereby ordered that the motion for release from pending appeal is granted. His surrender date is stayed, meaning he doesn't have to go. But, the courts have to make orders showing all this. And this is from the Second Circuit. So the Court of Appeals is ordering the trial court to take care of this. So this is, yeah. So it's all done. It is all done, chat. It's all done. He's all done. That's one heck of a black eye for that trial judge. Well, they wanted to fuck with him. Jail says, why didn't Trump pardon him? Because there was, ultimately, because Trump sucked. Same reason why he didn't pardon the January 6th people the first time around. This shit got played out, and he was convicted after Trump left office. But it's because Trump was a piece of shit and didn't help anybody the first term, which is really bad and is really pathetic. Like I said, it's one of the things I don't like about Trump, that he did not do the right thing there and take care of people. And he should have helped Ricky Vaughan out, but he didn't. He didn't, because Trump is cucked in many ways. Trump is cucked in many, many, many ways. So and that's where, Trump is a disaster for the most part at this point. Yeah. Mackey turned it down. Are you sure? I never heard about that, but no, if he turned it down, that's fucking ballsy. That's ballsy. So, could he have appealed if Trump pardoned him? No. There's nothing, you're done. There's no more. It's over. So, no, you can't. Catherine says, are you ever going to cover the Memphis cops? Yes, I need to, Catherine. And I'm sorry, now that we're out of Karen Reed, we probably will. We've got some other things to get through, too. But yes. And also, chat, real quick, this is something I did want to mention. Because I found it through somebody else I follow on Twitter, an attorney, GSU Grinding. He showed a link for it, and it's something I think, because I really do want to show you guys how things work in the rest of the world of the legal, criminal law in America. It's a murder trial in Atlanta. It's only a couple days. It's only going to be like 2 or 3 days long. And I kind of want to show it to you guys, because I want you guys to see how the real world works. You don't have 30-day trials. You don't have all these. You have attorneys you never heard of, you'll never hear of again. You only know of the judge because it's Scott McAfee, the judge who is overseeing all the Trump stuff. And it's not the same level. And it's stuff you guys really aren't going to care about, but it's just like whether or not he did it. But you won't care about the parties involved. Something I want to show you guys coming up here in the next maybe week or two. So get ready for that. But I want you guys to see, I know some of you guys are new, you haven't seen when we try to cover some stuff that is like a regular trial in America. Because I think you guys need to see that. I think you guys really do need to see that. So. A murder in Atlanta, shocker, yes. Don't go to Atlanta, yes. But that is something I plan on showing you guys here coming up. All right. Zach Kuz is saying, what about all the PSA stuff? Well, that is what we're going to start on now. So, chat, the good news for the National Firearms Act is right now, if you want a short-barreled rifle, short-barreled shotgun, or you intend to buy a suppressor, the NFA tax will be $0, which is good. But here's the thing. When does it take effect? Well, it's 90 days. You know, the amendment's made, and here's the thing, it's beginning more than 90 days after the enactment of this act. So what does that mean here? Well, that's 90 days after the end of the current quarter, which means the current quarter and then 90 days after that, which means January 1st. So you're not going to get it in 90 days. It's actually January 1st, 2026 is when you're going to get all this stuff for $0. So just, yeah, it's going to be a little while here based on my reading of it. I know some people are saying it might be in October, but, you know, it becomes, you know, when does this stuff get published in the Federal Register? So, yeah, it's going to be a little while here. So, let's see how that works. But anyways, at the end of the day, it's still good. Just wanted to bring that up. But since that has happened, there is a big happening that's going down in the Northern District of Texas. We got something spicy, chat. We got something very, very, very interesting that's going to happen. And this is a interesting collection of organizations and companies here. So who do you see in here? The Silencer Shop Foundation, Gun Owners of America, the Firearms Regulatory Accountability Coalition, Brugger and Thompson, Palmetto State Armory, Silencer Co., and the Gun Owners Foundation. Against the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the Department of Justice, Pam Bondi, everybody they're going after there. And it's a complaint. And what are they going forward on? Well, all these groups are going forward here, and they point out the NFA was enacted in 1934 and imposed a $200 tax, which is approximately $5,000 in today's dollars. Yes, the NFA was a prohibitive tax. People couldn't afford it. You know, the authors left no doubt the NFA was an exercise of the taxing power, and the Supreme Court has upheld it on that basis. Routinely, it is considered the power to tax, so it is a valid law. And this has been the uncontroversial understanding of courts and commentators for nearly a century. But now the NFA no longer imposes any tax on the vast majority of firearms classes it purports to regulate. Remember, chat, there are different classes of firearms covered by the National Firearms Act. Short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, silencers or suppressors, however you like to call them, machine guns, any other weapons, and destructive devices. Well, as of right now, 4 of those are going to become a $0 tax. Machine guns and destructive devices will still have a $200 transfer tax on them, which sucks if you're in the destructive device game or you want to really get into the game, hint, hint, you're still fucked on that. But I understand that they weren't going to just make it so you could buy grenade launchers without paying a tax on them. But, suffer, chat. We must suffer. So they point out that because this has been removed, that means the constitutional foundation for the NSA has been dissolved. A provision that does not generate revenue cannot be justified as a tax. And the NFA cannot be upheld under any other Article 1 power. So they're pointing out that for the classes that are there, that are covered for $0, the NFA is now unconstitutional. So, but here's what happened. The Big Beautiful Bill Act left undisturbed the NFA's registration requirements. And that's true. Even though it's the tax is $0, you still would have to file paperwork. You're still going to have to fill out a Form 1 or a Form 4. It would also restrict things about manufacturing it. If you make them, you still have to make it and do things properly. You have to do the proper markings on it. And transferring it. You have to transfer. You have to get a tax stamp for the transfer. Which, yeah, now it's a tax stamp showing you didn't, of $0. And they say the plaintiffs and individual organizations are burdened by this because of the untaxed firearms. And remember, two big, the Silencer Shop Foundation and Silencer Co. Silencer Co. and B&T. They all make suppressors. So, like, yeah, this is bad for all of them. This is bad for all of them. So, Scumbag of it says, I want a stamp-free destructive device and no one's rolling a liquor store with a Pack 70. Well, for now. All right, but anyways, moving on, guys. Here they point out that, they want to enjoin, and here's the problem. They're seeking an enjoining. Okay, so they want a nationwide injunction. Well, guess what? Well, now we got a problem with that, right? This is going to have to go all the way to the Supreme Court. So this is a long game. This is not going to happen right away. So what do they talk about, though? They mentioned the guy, Brady Wetz. He was the last person listed there. He's a natural person, a citizen of the United States, and a resident of San Angelo, Texas. He's an adult over the age of 21 because that is the ability to buy NFA items. You have to be over the age of 21. He is a gun owner. He's a member of GOA and a supporter of the Second Amendment. And to that end, he values his privacy and does not wish the government to obtain identifying information about his weapons, including demographics, fingerprints, address, or the make, model, and caliber and physical dimensions and serial number, or the physical location of his firearms. Because when you fill out a Form 1, chat, all of that's there. You fill out a Form 4, all of that is there. So, but this comes when you're possessing a short-barreled rifle, a short-barreled shotgun, any other weapons, or silencers. So it is a problem. It is a problem here. And they point out that if you make an application to make and register a firearm, this happens. That's also known as a Form 1. The application for tax-paid transfer and registration of a firearm is known as Form 4. You have to fill out these forms. And you have to fill out all kinds of information for them. If you guys go back through when we were dealing with the pistol braces, the ATF was giving people the opportunity to register their guns as SBRs for free. So you get a free tax stamp. Because it was free, I actually went along and I kind of recorded myself filling out the process just so you guys could see, like, what's it like to fill out an E-form. So, and even then, after you do all of this, you're going to have to wait weeks or months for the ATF to enter his registration information and issue an approval. And it's going to get even worse now because it's a $0 tax. There's going to be 1 million people doing this. There are going to be 1 million people doing this. It's going to be ridiculous. And they say, as a recent result of the reduction from $200 to $0, he's now going to purchase and possess a ton of other items. Yeah, and that's part of the issue. That $200 now could go to all kinds of stuff. And if you don't have to register any of it, you just go buy it and it's done. He would purchase these firearms within 30 days of the effective date of the $0 tax, were he not required by law to register these items with the federal government. And some of you might ask, well, I've never done this before, Sean. So if I buy a silencer, how does that work? Well, the way it works is you buy it. You go to the store and you pay for it. And then you fill out the Form 4, which is for the transfer. The gun store you're at, which is an SOT holder, special occupation tax holder, they are the ones who sell it. They hold on to it for you. They're not allowed to give it to you. They hold on to it. Now, there is a way you can get around that. For example, if you're really good friends with the guy who runs the gun store and he happens to go to the range with you one day, he can bring your silencer with you to the range and you can shoot it. But once you're done shooting it, you take it off your gun and you give it back to him and he puts it back in the store and keeps it waiting for you till you get federal approval. And that's how it works. People joke it's called jail for your guns when they're sitting there waiting for the federal approval. They said, but if he were to so much as peacefully possess an unregistered SBR or silencer, he would face arrest, prosecution, and imprisonment for felony violations of federal law, which is true. violating the National Firearms Act, you can face up to 10 years in prison and or a $250,000 fine. But notice, it's on something now that has a $0 tax. But if you don't fill out the paperwork, you could go to prison for it. Think of how weird that is now. Yeah. So they say, accordingly, he will refrain from his planned acquisitions unless and until he can lawfully acquire these items without registration. And he doesn't wish to wait an indeterminate period to acquire short-barreled firearms and silencers. And all I can say to that, Chad, is that is a based, principled standing this guy is taking here.
Was this story based? Yes.
Very based. Mega based, chat. Mega based. Let me see here. Where are we? Hold on. Somebody's been 44.73. Yes. Oh. They say, finally, because one of the silencer he owns no longer suits his needs, he wishes to sell the silencer locally to another resident in a private sale, which otherwise would be permissible under the Gun Control Act in Texas law. And that's correct. But because of the NFA, he has to do the registration provisions, which means that guy has to go register and pay for the transfer tax. And that's how it works. You fill out the form for if you're transferring it from person to person. So they go through here and they talk about who the organizations are. We're not going to worry about them at this point. We're not too worried about that as far as things are concerned here. But the jurisdiction, I mean, it's a civil action under the laws of the United States. They're seeking equitable relief, which once again runs into a problem. We just got done with the Trump versus Casa case where they basically said that nationwide injunctions are kind of dead. They are seeking under the Declaratory Judgment Act relief. But yeah, this is a little tough here. This is a little tough. They do talk about the standing here, and standing is just, do you have the right and the ability to file a lawsuit? And yes, Brady Wetz has suffered an injury in fact that's traceable to the challenged conduct of the government. Yes. And that it is likely to be redressed by a favorable judicial decision, which is very true. And they say traceability and redressability overlap when you challenge a governmental action. You know, he wishes to make and acquire silencers, SBRs, and short barrel shotguns. You know, he would take these actions immediately with the $0 tax, but for the paperwork and registration. You know, these gun stores want to be able to do it. They also wish to transfer types of firearms to other people, but it's slowing them down. They could do more. But the organizations here, we're not worried about their standing. There's commercial plaintiffs not worried about their standing. But the statutory framework is where we get to this here. And it says first enacted in 1934, chat. And yes, this is 1934. And it wasn't as much for the gangsters as it was basically for labor violence. The largest purchasers of military armaments in 1934 were corporations dealing with strikes and all the commie rabble out in the streets. They were the biggest purchasers of military armaments. But anyways, they established the excise tax, chat. And an excise tax is a type of tax that you get, especially when you're getting to alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. You pay excise taxes for it. And an excise tax is also a way government makes revenue. But if you're selling alcohol, you pay taxes on that. You have tax stamps. If you're doing tobacco, you pay excise tax on it. So what happens here? Well, this is where they're making the arguments. They say, purportedly in further to ensuring the collection of the taxes, the NFA can currently establish a central registry for the recording the makings, transfers, and corresponding tax payments of firearms subject to the NFA. And if you guys don't know what this tax, I keep telling you about a stamp. You actually get a stamp. It's like when they used to do this in paper mode, you would get like a paper stamp. You would get a stamp, like affixed to your documents. Like it was a legitimate thing. And this is a great actual picture of what this looked like. Like, I'm not joking, chat. This is what it was. It was an actual stamp. It was a stamp that would get put on your documents. A stamp with a serial number and control number on it. And for those of you who are new, or those of you who are in the colonies, and the Commonwealth might say, wait, wasn't the Stamp Act a underlying casus belli for the Revolutionary War? Yes. And yet here we are with tax stamps. Yes, yes. Cucked by history, chat. That we are. 100%. But these stamps exist, and they are out there, and the stamps are, there are certain stamps that come in different colors. For short-barreled shotguns, you can get a different colored stamp. For any other weapon, I believe there's a different color stamp too. But there are different stamps, but this is the basic NFA stamp. And it says the United States Internal Revenue because it's showing you paid a tax. But this is the stamp. So it is a thing. It is it is a thing, guys. Like I'm not, and it's not a, it is a real thing. And hold on here. Let me see here. Oh, what was I looking for here? I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, here's an example of some stamps. Here's another set of stamps. This is the AOW stamps, or I'm sorry, the AOW stamps are $5. And the transfer tax for an AOW is $5, not $200. So the AOWs have the $5 stamp, and they're literal stamps. They're 100% literal stamps. And if the only way, if you do it online, you do an electronic, you do the e-forms, and actually here, I'll bring up, hold on here. Where is, if I can bring up mine real quick, I will. I'll show you guys. I did an e-form for the SBR when we made the whole pistol breaks thing, just to show you guys how to do it. Like you can do it electronically, and you get an electronic, your form comes back electronically. And from there, you get an electronic stamp on your thing, which is not as cool as a legitimate stamp, but that is a real thing. I can't get the load. Damn it, e-forms, you're killing me. So Karen says, this is the legal learning I'm here for, but I have a trust. Well, yes. And if you had a trust before 2017, the trust was entirely worth it. Harble Warble says the stamp goes on a form in pre-computer times. Well, even nowadays, if you for the longest time, they were still doing it. Like you got a stamp. But if you can do a Form 1 or a Form 4 online, and it's electronic. But yes, you got actual legitimate stamps. And the joke is, if you own a lot of NFA guns, you're a stamp collector. And it's kind of a meme, but it is a legitimate thing. So there are different stamp colors. And there's a whole thing. There is a whole thing for it. Let me see here. What was the one? I forget the other thing I was going to show you guys here. But yeah, this is that is how the stamps work. There's an entire, thing there. So yeah, what a system, yes. Yes. How do I format the submission of Casus Belli now that I have one? Oh, well, that's the neat thing. As long as you put down, you can put down a lot of different purposes when you're filling out a Form 1 or a Form 4. I always just tell people put down all lawful purposes. So, but anyways, getting back to this, you guys understand what we're looking at here, and that was a bit of a derailment. Once you do that, the registration is the NFRTR, the National Firearms Registration and Transfer Record. Now, I've talked about this before. There was a case in Kansas, I think about 10 years ago now, where the ATF had to admit, yeah, it's like maybe 50% accurate. And that's because so many paper records are lost or they didn't really keep track of them too well. The only reason why the NFRTR is gaining accuracy is because of the increasing use of e-forms, e-filing, and just modern day record keeping by the ATF. I have a friend, he runs gun stores at SOT, and they didn't realize, like, they didn't have some of the machine guns he owns. They didn't have forms for him because he's had the guns for like 30 years, 25, 30 years. And they didn't have his Form 4s for some of his machine guns. And they're like, can we make copies so we have them on record? And he's like, well, yeah, because now he can show proof that, hey, look, I have this. But like there's a big problem with the NFRTR. Anyways, moving on. The tax imposed, nearly $5,000, was a pretextual attempt to preclude citizens from possessing it. And they talk about on July 4th, Trump signed the One Big Beautiful Bullshit Bill Act into law. And it's a fucking disaster. That bill is fucking garbage. This is the only good thing out of it. It's absolute fucking garbage. The act eliminated transfer and manufacture tax on all items except machine guns and destructive devices. The transfer and manufacture tax on machine guns and destructive devices remains $200. But the transfer tax is now $0 for silencers, short-barreled rifles, shotguns, and the NFA's any other weapon. And any other weapons are kind of a unique category, guys, if you're not really used to it. It allows you to do, it's things, it's guns disguised as items. There's also just different kinds of ways that you might have a smooth-barreled pistol. There's a lot of different ways you can have it in any other weapon. But there, like if you made a gun that looked like a cell phone, that would be any other weapon. There's a lot of different things. It's kind of like, it's the more obscure category of the National Firearms Act. Like not a lot of people deal in them. Not a lot of people own them. It's kind of like the redheaded stepchild. And I don't say that because it had a red stamp. It's just not very popular compared to everything else. So it says count 1, a declaratory judgment that these exceed Congress's Article 1 enumerated powers with respect to untaxed guns. And they say that these requirements initially were enacted and sustained as an exercise of Congress's taxing power. And Sonzinski versus the United States was a challenge in 1937. Immediately someone challenged it and it was upheld. They say, well, now that these categories are now untaxed, yet the registration still exists. Well, that doesn't work. And, we're injured by the NFA's unconstitutional requirements. Violates Article 1. And they're entitled to a declaration of the registration and transfer requirements exceed Congress's powers. They say count 2, injunctive relief. Once again, we're getting to a nationwide injunction, and we just talked about this with Ryan Mullally on Wednesday night. Was it? Yeah, was it last night? No, it was Tuesday night. It was Tuesday night, chat. Nationwide injunctions are pretty much disfavored now. So I don't know if we're going to get that. You can get it in your district, so the Northern District of Texas, but are we going to be able to effectively get that now? Probably not. So remember, this was a great thing, this Casa v. Trump case where all these judges are getting their asses beat and BTFO'd by the Supreme Court. This is the downside. This is the downside to it all. This is the downside, guys. That's the downside. So they point out they're entitled to a permanent injunction. I don't know if you're going to be able to get one now. So they want to declare the NFA transfer and registration requirements for the untaxed exceed Congress's enumerated powers, meaning machine guns and destructive devices are not on the table for this one, chat. That'd be the next time around, probably. They don't want to join defendants. That's not going to happen. I don't think now with the Trump case, CASA case, you can do that. But we'll see. We'll see. It's being done by Stephen Stamboulier from Stamboulier Law. And I'm going to reach. I'm going to reach out to him to see if he'd like to come on and talk about it, because I'm curious to see what their argument's going to be to get around that, because that is a big issue. I think it's a very big issue. I don't know what they're going to do to get around that, because remember, Supreme Court just fucking bitch slapped the court system for fucking around with these injunctions. So we'll see. We'll see. It's not too hard to form a class for this one. Yeah, but they're not asking for a class. To get a class, like if you're doing class action under Rule 23, you have to file and say, we are seeking a class. It's an actual thing you have to do. You can't just go, oh, we're a class now. Like generally, you kind of get that going as part of your game plan. Can the government decline to contest it? Yes, they 100% can. Yep. But you can't rely on the benevolence of the government. So, Maddie brings up a question. This is a good question. Is it the same violation of the National Firearms Act if I were to have a machine gun versus a short-barreled rifle that's not stamped? Correct. It's not. The violation of the law is the same. Your sentencing would be vastly different, because that, remember, we talked about the sentencing guidelines. Did you have an automatic weapon? Yes. Well, that enhances your sentence. But statutorily, you're breaking the same law with the same penalties. So you might get more, you would face up to 10 years or 120 months, but you might get less time if you just had an unregistered SBR versus an unregistered machine gun. And Maddie, were you talking about an SBR machine gun? That's not a thing. Machine gun is like the top class. A machine gun can be an SBR. A machine gun can be a destructive device. Like, a machine gun is king of everything. So a machine gun can be and all those classes. There's no limits on machine guns. Machine guns are kind of like the top of the pyramid. So they can be an SBR. They could be a short barrel shotgun. They could be in any other weapon. Because ultimately they're a machine gun. The machine guns are the king of the mountain. The way the feds look at it. So. Let me see here. Very good question, though. Very good question. Inaz saying, yes, a machine gun could be a drawing, apparently. Yes, according to the Matt Hoover case, yes, the auto key card case, 100%. Very, very true. Very, very true. Now, Shredder S07, who's been a member for 12 months, says, go green or get out. Yes. Yes. Keep moving, Grays. This is a green neighborhood now. Yorick for $20 is saying, if you purge the voter rolls every year, required everyone to register by April 1st every year, everyone would know this only mess with people who were restarted. Good to catch you live, Sean. Yeah, it's very true. I think that would be that'd be a pain in the ass. But yeah, I think every couple of years you have to re-register. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. Don't think it's a bad idea at all. Catherine, I did cover this. Yes, we will get to the Memphis cops and their murder of Tyree Nickel at some point here coming up. So, Zakuza is saying the last 15 years of Palmetto State Army is a wild story. Yes. Palmetto State Army has done so much to arm and equip the average American more than any other gun company really in the history of American firearms manufacturing. Like, fucking amazing what they've done. Truly. They are truly doing God's work. Stabby says, Sean showed us all what it's like to ask the government for permission to exercise an enumerated right. Yep. And yes, that's the thing. When you have all these stamps, I mean, there was for a while, people were like 18 months, 2 years getting stamps approved. It was really bad for a while. It was really bad for a while there. It's a lot better now. A lot better now. Scumbagovich says this cert will get denied. Thomas will dissent. Yeah. No, I mean, like I think on this case, you'll get Thomas. You'll probably get Alito, Gorsuch. I mean, I bet they get cert. I don't know if it'll get through though. Peyton Wong is saying yes, this is true. Anybody's filled out a 4473 is on that list as well. Yes. But in the meantime, if this is how we chip away at no more 4473s, this is the start. You got to start somewhere. And it's just, guys, like I told you, when it comes to guns and getting this stuff sorted out, it's just like the civil rights movement. Yes, they got Brown versus Board of Education, but they had to file so many lawsuits and take so much legal action. There are so many Supreme Court cases regarding the civil rights movement from Brown versus Board until today of just chipping away. You just chip away at the edges of it. Chip away, chip. And eventually you've chipped away at everything. So it's going to take a long time. It took a long time for us to get in this position. It's going to take a long time to get out of it. But you got to start somewhere. BobTube for 5 more Australian dollary doodles. Thank you. Bob says, feel privileged. You don't need to go through what we have to go to in Australia to own a gun. 1-year process and only single action. Yeah, I understand and I agree. You know, we still feel privileged, but there's, you know, we're still gonna fight. Still gonna fight. Because in America, we don't need a license to fight for our rights. And also, guys, real quick, if you are if you guys are wondering a good channel to watch, if you in Australia, if you want to watch some people do some insane stuff, these guys are Mark and Sam After Work. This is a channel here on YouTube, and they've got a ton of subs. They're like 491,000 subs. These guys do like 2,000, yard shots. Like they're out in Western Australia, which nobody apparently lives in. And they're out there doing like 2,000, 3,000 yard shots, like running a 300 Win Mag at 3,000 yards. Like these guys they do so much crazy shit. And these guys are like, it's him and his, I think their husband and wife. Like she's a spotter. She's a pretty good shot herself. But this dude, within a couple of shots, he's dialed in. Like these guys do some pretty cool stuff. They run all kinds of stuff. They run a 308 out to a mile. I mean, they do all kinds of neat shit. Like taking a sharps out to 1,000 yards. It's actually really good. It's really cool. And yes, listening to these guys do their fighting and the petition work they're doing, go show them support. Give them a sub. Tell them, keep fighting the good fight if you can find them out there. I think it's pretty cool what these guys do. I think it's really neat. Jefferson Poe says for $2, BBB, it's a shovel of shit to get a teaspoon of sugar. Yeah. Pretty much, man. Pretty much. That's how I look at it. So. CV1129 says, is it not hopium to think we would have gotten a nationwide injunction in favor of gun rights anyway? I mean, I don't think we're going to, I don't think we'll, we're forum shopping. Just like all the immigration cases are going to Boston or DC because they're forum shopping and finding sympathetic judges. So we probably would get it. I mean, I'm just curious to know how that's going to work now with CASA. The CASA case here. Let's see here. Yes, Karen says, watch your PSA mouth. Anderson Manufacturing lowers enters the chat. Yes, Anderson Manufacturing did a lot too for getting people into the gun ownership market. But Palmetto State Armory just on making Glocks, Gen 3 Glock 19s available for like $200. Like they all have done amazing things. Like these smaller firearms companies have just been truly doing God's work out there. Keopathan says California DMV has a spot that marks you as a gun owner when the cops pull up your data. Yeah, Not a surprise there. Not a surprise there at all. And there's a reason why back when I had a concealed handgun license, I had a car registered in my name, but it was the newer car. And at the time, my wife, future Mrs. Martin 1.0 was driving that car all the time, and I drove the other car. So guess what? If the cops pull me over, like, you wouldn't know I had a concealed handgun license until you ran my info. It was always fun doing it that way. When Kia Path is talking about Australia, Perth is some of the best beaches. Sadly, it's in Australia. It tries to kill you. Ron is saying over on Obscure Destinations Outdoors, is our channel, we do our shots before breakfast every morning. Granted, not the same kind of shots as those guys. Yes. Guys, if you want to see them for beer for breakfast, Ron and Tony are out there hanging out, doing their show in the morning, sometimes really early. But you guys could find them over there. They are doing some fun. They are having fun over there in Florida. Being Florida man. Doing Florida man stuff. Is Anderson still in business? No. Ruger bought them out. So they're done. Yes. High Point walked so PSA could run. Yeah, rest in peace, DSG. Yes, DSG Arms. Yep. Yeah. Yep. But that is where we are with that, guys. And now we are on. So there's some hopium there. Just be careful about what we're going to actually get out of this. And I'm not sure what we'll ultimately get. Now, moving on from there, we're getting into this is the real shit now. And I guess we're going to end on a serious note tonight. This, if you guys, don't follow Future Conflicts, you don't follow Tacticalism, Joe Dolio, when it talks about civil war or some sort of low-level insurgency action, we've already had kickoff. Over the weekend, on the 4th of July, the Prairieland ICE Detention Center, 10 to 12 individuals dressed in black began shooting fireworks at the police, like shooting the little mortar rounds like they do all the time. 2 unarmed corrections officers approached them, and the police from Alvarado, Texas arrived. At some point, then, 2 of that group of 10 to 12 with AR-15s started shooting at the cops and started shooting at the building from 100 yards away. And then they ran. Okay, well, one of the shooters, yeah, it didn't go so well for him. One of the shooters got smoked. And who was it? It was a guy named Ryan Lewis. Most, I don't know what it is. Something in Spanish. He is a DACA recipient. Well, was a DACA recipient. He was a communist. He got made a good communist finally. So there you go. And what happened from here? Well, there's even more that happened. These guys showed up with gear. This isn't just a MAGA carrier. This is a plate carrier. Yeah, you laugh at it being Condor, but it's a plate carrier. Loaded down with PMags. And, they're doing all their little shit and, yay, resisting fascism and all this gay nonsense. But these guys came to fucking play. Sure, this homie got rolled up by fucking feds, but he came to play. And to make matters worse, he had a 3D printed AR, which, look at this lower that he has. He's not from California, and they're not doing this in California, But basically, this is like a what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Notice he also has the point at fascists. Where the heckin' revolutionaries? You point at fascists, you pull the trigger, you repeat till the fascist goes away. But yes, this guy got fucking rolled. Now, that is the embarrassing part. You roll up on the feds and you've got some shit-ass 3D printed gun. But here's the problem, guys. 10 to 12 people in total were there. And here's the issue. The police eventually caught these people. These fucking scumbag communists. They caught all these people. You know, these motherfuckers wanted to. They thought they were about that life. They wanted, they tried to put in work, and they folded quick. So what happened to these people? Well, right now, they got indicted, and this is important. I think you guys need to understand. If these guys were halfway fucking competent, how much worse this could have been. But this is a criminal complaint, and count one's the attempted murder of a federal officer. And it's all these people. Cameron Arnold, Savannah Batten, Nathan Bauman, Zachary Everett, Joy Gibson, Bradford Morris, Marcelo Rudea, Seth Sykes, Elizabeth Soto, and Inez Soto. They tried to kill a corrections officer. They tried to do it again for count 2. Count 3 is another attempted murder of a federal officer. Count 4 is discharging a firearm in relation to and in furtherance of a crime. Count 5 is again doing that. Count 6 is again doing that. And what do they use? 2 AR-15s. So what happened here? What happened? So here's all these people. One of the, like Dallas, here's where they live. Dallas, Fort Worth, College Station, Waxahachie, Dallas, Fort Worth, Kennedale, Fort Worth, Alvarado is where it all happened. But look where these people live. They all were from Texas. This is a fucking terrorist cell. This is a terrorist cell. But this place, the Prairieland Detention Center, was being used as a DHS detention facility for immigration violations. The corrections officers are contracted by DHS to perform the duties on behalf of DHS. So on July 4th at 10:30, a group of them wearing all black began shooting fireworks, being gay little Antifa faggots. Around 10:47, one or two of the individuals broke off from the main group and began to graffiti vehicles and a guard structure in the parking lot. And that's where they write on their shit because they're little bitches. Around 10:56, they called 911. And around 10:58, 2 unarmed corrections officers performing their duties for DHS, which makes them federal officers, came out to the fence line separating the facility from the parking lot and attempted to talk to them. They then exited the fence line into the parking lot and approached the vandals. Meanwhile, someone wearing a green mask, with a flashlight, signaled to them, "Get out of the way, we're going to start shooting." So at 10:59, the police arrive. And immediately after they get out of their vehicle, an assailant in the woods opened fire, shooting the officer in the neck. The officer is going to survive. The assailant in the green mask then opened fire. And they shot 20 to 30 rounds, and they found a bunch of 5.56 casings and a couple of magazines. The shooting was captured on CCTV and the body cams. Later on, they found an AR-15, and they say the rifle had a bullet jammed in the chamber. Well, it sounds like they didn't know how to clear their shit. The second AR-15 was found abandoned in the woods near 5.56 cases, along with 2 body-armored plate carriers loaded with AR-15s. A pistol magazine was also recovered. And then from there, more police, as this was all going down, stopped a red Hyundai. And they stopped it down here on that map. During the traffic stop, they saw guns in the car and asked the guy there what's going on. They pulled him out of the car. They saw ballistic vests. There was also a Kevlar helmet in the van. You know, that he had a magazine that matched the pistol, and he had a handheld radio. Remember, guys, Balfangs, like, you can laugh at these people all you want, but they kind of half-assed an ambush. They had comms, and they had a bit of a plan they kind of rehearsed. You know, he admitted he had been there and claimed he met some people online and transported them to make some noise. As all this happened, they found 7 people on foot at the intersections of the roads 300 yards west of where the shooting happened. And what does that mean? Well, they came back over to this and they found these guys they found them out of the way, you know, kind of wandering around because they lost their ride. They probably didn't anticipate somebody getting fucking shot. Get 2 Balfangs for $100. You can probably get them cheaper than that. Yes. Remember, chat, when your guns go down, tap, rack, bang is always the great way to get it back in the fight. Yeah. You can get 2 Balfangs for like $25. Yep. So these other subjects were identified the rest. They were dressed in black. They had military-style clothing. Some had body armor on. Some were covered in mud. Some were armed and some had radios. They found, you know, firearms, magazines containing ammo, and a total of 12 sets of body armor were found during a search of the vehicle's persons and area around the detention center, including, you know, pictures of this plate carrier we just saw in chat, and you guys can see it here again. All this gay shit. They also show these guys had backpacks that had spray paint, you know, and it says, fight ICE terror with class war. Yeah. Fucking helicopter time for these people. One of the guys had 2 cell phones in his backpack inside a Faraday bag. And they're getting sophisticated. They understand comms. But still, you don't bring them with you. But yeah, now that can't be tracked. One of the guys had a handgun in his waistband. And another, you know, an AR-15 in his backpack. You know, these guys they're finding everything here, guys. You know, these guys are, I mean, you know, they raided a couple of houses here. They found more guns, more body armor. Now they say this, but I'm assuming they're just finding plate carriers without body armor plates or panels in them. You know, all the kinds of shit they're doing. You know, there's historical cell phone data. You know, that at the residence was a co-defendant. I mean, this is just a complete disaster. Now they also here, and this is the interesting part. This tells me that they have a snitch in their ranks because this information is out there already. That one of the people in the shooting placed a phone call to a guy, Daniel Rolando, who's charged in a separate complaint. You know, Rada told Sanchez that her car, which is registered to her home address, was parked in the same block as the other buddy, and stated that a phone was located in the back. Rada told Sanchez to tow the vehicle and go to her house, stating, "Whatever you need to do, move whatever you need to move at the house." They expressed concern about the possibility of the police executing a search warrant. You know, and if this is all phone calls, it sounds like someone was a snitch. Or, you know, I don't know how they picked this all up. So they said that they'd already gone to someone's house, they were good, and it believed that, you know, the houses hadn't been searched by police. You know, they say on July 7th, the FBI went to a residence in Garland, which they believe is an address for Sanchez. You know, they observed vehicles there, and they saw the guy carrying multiple packages. So they're probably like, oh no, he's got bombs. So the FBI executed a search warrant, and they found the box carried by him, which contained anti-government propaganda. Okay, which that is based. But this shit here, organizing for attack, insurrectionary anarchy. Oh, I'm sure that is truly beautiful and not full of praxis. They say, based on these facts, there's attempts to kill police officers, attempted murder, and discharging of firearm. And it's signed by the FBI. I mean, but guys, these guys, this was a fucking terrorist cell. This is a terrorist cell. And they should get dealt with. Hold on here. Chinny says, if you're not going to read it, geez, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about here. I've been trying to go through all of it. Too bad Carl from Enrage wasn't there. Oh, I'm sure he'd love to be there, or would have been. Yeah, how many of those names were dead names for those people? I don't know. And yes, Amateur Iconoclast, you're correct. John Brown's raid, and that's the thing. These guys are probably part of a John Brown gun club, which is a bunch of loser commies that form gun clubs. And you are very much similar to another person, Ateus. I follow on Twitter, and he says, John Brown was, you guys remember, John Brown tried to raid Harper's Ferry to steal guns and start a black insurrection in the South. The John Brown Gun Club was involved in a failed attack on a federal facility where all its members didn't complete their goal and all were captured or killed. Yes, it sounds like poetry. It very much rhymes. That's how history goes. That's how history goes. So, that is how it goes. Jail Dubs' plates are illegal, right? No. You can buy you can buy ceramic rifle plates right now. You can, it's can buy them right now. You can buy all kinds of stuff. You can buy body armor inserts. Like none of that is illegal. None of that is illegal. And you can go to places like bulletproofme.com and you can buy like a soft armor vest. You can do like an interceptor style vest. You can do all kinds. You can get a concealable, you can get a rifle plate, you can buy like a ballistic blanket, you can buy a helmet, Kevlar helmets. You can buy all kinds of stuff. You can buy all kinds of stuff. If you have doggos, you can buy a canine vest, which is such important. They're very expensive though for puppers. But they do help. They do help keep puppers from getting hurt when they're on the job. Let's see here. Yeah, you got level 4 plates in that? Yes. I could even get one for Clyde, maybe. Yeah, but yes, you're going to have to check your state laws, but generally there's no prohibition on it at the federal level. If you live in Canada, very different story. Do they have vests that fit people like me and you, Jim? No, you just tape it to your chest. So, drop a link to the body armor. Bulletproofme.com is a great place just to see some basics. Oh. But yeah, be careful where you buy your body armor from. Don't buy the steel plates. Don't buy the steel plates. But remember, chat, on the positive side, one of those commies is burning in hell being a good commie. And hopefully the rest of these commies are getting butt-fucked to death in jail as we speak. But yes, the communist scum, the insurrection of these communists, well, they're running about, and they need to be dealt with. They need to be crushed, chat, like the scum of the earth they are. Someday, mark my words, we will crush these people. We will crush this communist scum once and for all. Yes, me wearing a Haley micro rig would be funny. Oh, that would be fucking awesome. Oh. So. Jail Dub says, are there military grade plates that are illegal? No. You know, as long as like they're not stolen, you could buy them. But no, you can buy enhanced SAPI plates right now. You can buy the X SAPI plates right now. There's literally no, as long as you're not like buying stolen shit, you can buy that stuff. You go to Granger and buy like body armor and gas mask and everything. So Nurna says you're gonna cover their trainer Benjamin Song. Yes, a Korean reservist. The cringe basement training video. Yeah, but you know what, man? Those guys are practicing basic things of like how do you move around each other? Just the basic idea of like you got your gun, you need to turn it down and move it, and you come back up. Like that's all. Like they're doing real. Like they're practicing a little bit, and a little bit of practice against people who haven't practiced goes a long fucking way. So laugh at them at your own risk. They're training. Eventually, they will get better. So find a group of people. Start learning things and practicing stuff. So, and that's really bigger. Just building a community is far more important than, you know, at this point, than knowing how to run a gun. So, yeah, if you're a felon, don't buy body armor, but whatever. Let me see here. I just wear a tank. Yeah, I just walk around as a tank. Swankle is saying Carolyn Borisenko does a great job at keeping tabs on him. She's just so nice. Yeah, she's a fucking loon in her own right. So Peyton says, is it time for your Serbian death squad? Not yet. Remember, I'll tell you when it's time. When it's time to start your own Serbian paramilitary group, I will let you know. We are not there yet, chat. So do not do that yet. But with that said, guys, we are all done. Yeah, we've got another 3 hours, so that's good enough. But with that said, chat, we are all wrapped up here. We are going to call that a night. We are going to get into some other things that are going on. One of those is Judge Hannah Dugan out of Wisconsin lost her immunity gambit in court. And we're going to go through that, the court's denial of her immunity challenge, because they're saying you don't have immunity for breaking the law while you're judge. And it is just so tasty and delicious to read. This weekend, also, I think we are going to try to go over some Destiny stuff and just get caught up on him. And then from there, you know, probably on Saturday night, do a little bit of more model painting. We got some stuff we can do. And let's see here. Did I see a January 6th dude got a life sentence? Is that the guy who was threatening to kill federal agents? Like, because if that's him, it's like, yeah, I mean, kind of a surprise. Hold on 1 second, chat. No. Okay, chat. I know the Louisiana stuff. You guys gave me you guys told 2.0 about the person who's talking about it. I'm trying to get in touch with them. So we're not going to do Louisiana stuff, the stuff in New Orleans, until I can get people involved in that to come talk about it. But it's also, I think more of the uproar is about the victim's right side of it, which I'm not really too worried about. I want to make sure the defendants aren't getting screwed. But I need to talk to the people involved in that. So we're not going to do that one right away until we have that person here. So, and yeah, Maddie, as I said, yes, when you walk outside, the amended complaint was filed. Good. So we'll definitely do that this weekend. But yes, when you walk outside and your neighbors are out on their front porch too, you know it's time. Until then, you'll know it's not time. So. What about the Kayla Giles case? That's another one we are gonna do. We'll probably do that Tuesday night, guys. Cover the Kayla Giles case and see how bad USCCW fucked that woman over. So that's what we'll be doing. P-Dubs is insufficient Clyde coin reserves. That's no such thing. You never run out of Clyde coin. There's never a time. Look at him. He's so cute. There's never insufficient Clyde coin out there, chat. So with that said, you guys, we are going to wrap this up. We are going to head over to locals, potentiallycriminal.locals.com. Remember, use the promo code summertime 2025. And yeah, I will see you guys over there shortly. And just remember till next time, chat, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. That includes Ricky Vaughan. He is not guilty like a boss. Lady in Australia, yeah, sounds like she's pretty guilty. Sounds like she's pretty guilty. So, suffer, mate. Well, with that said, chat, have a great night, and I will see you guys later. Take care.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains.
Real quick, Brooks Euchre for 10 months. Thank you, Brooks, for your support, man. He says this ambush is an escalation. This is concerning. Well, to them, it's game time. This is only going to get worse from here on out. So, like I said, find a community. Start getting ready. Things will need to be dealt with at some point. Be ready for it. Be ready for it, chat. But confidently, Barry, don't be in fear. Don't be in fear. And real quick, Sula is correct. Yeah, that was a very FG42 style handle, but I doubt that guy knows what he's talking about. So anyways, let's get back to it, chat. I will see you guys over at locals.
Merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops. Even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney.